Hi YouTube, I'm Trollymog. I am a variety streamer on Twitch. I play indie and small studio games, Metroidvanias, roguelikes, roguelites, horror games, text-based games, and rhythm games primarily. We are going to be playing day 2 of Swooning Over Stands, a dating sim visual novel where you can romance either Grunkle Stan or Grunkle Ford from the show Gravity Falls. We are on the Grunkle Stan path because he's just a lot more fun than Grunkle Ford is, so let's get back into it and pick up with day 2. He's smiling in a way that lights up his face like you haven't seen before. You're smiling too, wide and goofy, full of a sheer giddiness that you can't contain. There's something intoxicating about it. With that feeling running through you, it's a hard fall back to earth. Hey, can you help me get these gloves off? Stan laughs, loud and free, and obliges. It's later that day, just after dinner, when you get around to telling Stan about your time at the diner. So I guess I'm asking, is it always like that around here? People talking about my love life? After you've survived Mabel, everyone else is small fry. There's not much to talk about in this town, so when a tourist crashes their car into the jewel of the town at the peak of the season, that's prime material. Enough of that, though. I thought we could have a private movie night. You know, to wind down a little. I keep the movies in that cabinet over there. Go and pick one. You open it up to reveal a stack of VHS tapes and a few DVDs. What do you want to watch? So we can choose between a heart-rending classic drama, a stomach-churning horror film, or a documentary that you assume is Ford's. Based off of what I know of Grunkle Stan, I think that a heart-rending classic drama is the appropriate option here. Are you guys with me, or do you want a different option? It's an old black and white movie about a young woman whose lover has to leave the country to pursue his dreams. At the film's climax, right as he's about to get off the boat to sail... to get onto the boat to sail off for foreign lands, the lovers kiss as violins swell. They promise never to forget each other, and he sails away knowing that they'll never see each other again. You hear sniffling, and after confirming that it didn't come from the TV, you realize it's coming from your left, from Stan. He's resolutely staring at the TV with a deep-set frown on his face, but his eyes shine with withheld tears. Stan really is a romantic at heart. Good call, Mabel. You act like you didn't notice and continue to watch as the heroine returns to her average life, clearly no longer satisfied with mundanity. Feeling comfortable, you shift your position a bit to rest your head on Stan's shoulder. Getting sleepy? A little, but I gotta see how this ends. There's no way she's just gonna go on like that. Stan chuckles before making a sound of excitement. Look, this is the best part. He's said that about 3 times already, but you don't mind at all. Not too long after, the film concludes, leaving exactly what the woman did when she returned to the dock late at night unclear, setting up for a sequel you know Stan has in the collection. The ending credits scroll across the screen against a melancholy orchestral accompaniment. That was a good movie, or that was a good movie and you're crying. I calling him out like that is that's a little mean. I think that we should maybe just enjoy the movie with him and not maybe make him feel awkward. Yeah, that's a little mean. We're being semi-chaotic. We're picking whatever feels like a good answer. We're not trying specifically to like optimize a path or anything. And that's the reason why we ended up going with Stan over Ford, because Ford's just a little bit of a dick. Like he's a little... I wasn't enjoying the things that he was saying, and Stan, while being Stan, once you get past the larceny, has a heart of gold. By the time the credits are over, you're sleepy enough that you can't imagine getting up from your spot. Stan seems to feel the same, but the jarring shift of the TV screen from black to loud, snowy static brings him to his feet. Yeah, right? I think that sums up Stan pretty well. He grumbled. Like, we literally ended up in jail with him in the last one because we were stealing car parts so he could, from a used car lot, so that way he could fix our car. He grumbles, switching on the unit off, but not bothering to take the tape out. You were right, that was pretty good. Of course I was, Trollymog. Stan offers you his hand to help you up and out of your seat, and you accept. Your eyes meet for a moment, the faint glow of the table lamp catching in them before you break the silence with a laugh, smiling tiredly. Thanks for the session today. My arms are so sore, I hope that means it's working. It's then that you realize that your hand is still in Stan's, and he beams at you. Oh, definitely. Well, good night then, Stan. I'll see you in... You glance at the clock. A few hours, I guess. Sure thing. Good night, Trollymog. Oh, the love meter's almost halfway up. I fucking love that picture. This is so good. Oh, man. I'm guessing this snort is Waddles. What in the... When you open your eyes, you're being stared down by a fat, wet snout. Ah! Oink. Oh, Waddles, it's you. The plump pig is lying on your chest, and boy, he's a real hefty. Oh, thank you. I've never, honestly, I haven't even clipped something in someone else's channel. I did make some highlights at one point, but clips are completely foreign to me, and I look forward to seeing that later. Ah! Aw. You jolt up at the sudden voice from above you, sending Waddles falling from your chest into your lap with a screech. You turn to see Mabel, all metal-filled smile and rosy cheeks. I forgot she had braces on for a second, and I got very concerned about that metal-filled smile. Barely able to contain her glee, despite nearly scaring the life out of you. Hey there, sleepyhead, it's lunchtime. It is? What happened to breakfast? A glance at your phone tells you you've slept in past noon. Instead of leaving and letting you get ready for the day, though, Mabel sits right down on the edge of the mattress with you and looks at you expectantly. So, how have things been going with Grunkle Stan? Has he told you about feelings yet? Have you two kissed? You're not sure you'd tell her even if either of those things did happen. Yeah, let's not get her weird hopes up by saying both things lots of times. Let's redirect her to Stan. If she wants to know, she can talk to her uncle. Because he won't tell me a thing. Come on, Trollymug. I thought we had a bond that lets me learn how much I'm improving my Grunkle Stan's second chance at love. Third chance. Fourth chance. Actually, let's not put numbers on that. Okay, maybe there haven't been any milestones, but things are going great, right? I think I would be shooing her out of the room so that way I could get dressed. All right, but you gotta promise to fill me in later. I'm counting on you, Trollymog. Come on, Waddles. They leave and you're left to your thoughts. With all the hectic supernatural stuff in Gravity Falls that inexplicably often finds itself in or near the shack, you haven't been able to spend much significant time with Stan since your boxing session. Yeah, right? Like, you would expect that he would have, you know, fallen in love a couple of times. You've only found short moments, like a late-night game of cards that ran longer than expected, because by the end of it, you'd both just left the deck on the table as you listened to him tell a story about how this one time he... Well, you guess that was a significant amount of time. You just never really wanted those moments to end. I think the best thing about this dating sim is that it is very, like, character accurate to how you think that they would respond. But then you get like these real visual novel, like dating sim moments where you're just staring at Stan as he's drinking from a water bottle and like the condensation drips off onto his chest. And you have to remind yourself that this is fucking Grunkle Stan. It's fantastic. And just yesterday, Ford came up to you in the kitchen, standing with a bowl of cereal in hand that he was apparently in the middle of eating, and basically gave you a condensed version of the, if you break my twin brother's heart, I'll make you regret it. The bowl of cereal turning out to be 95% marshmallows did not make him seem any less intimidating. You're not sure why he did that. As far as you know, there's nothing official between you and Stan. Besides, Stan and Ford don't even live on land anymore. They'd be setting sail again, exploring the seas and documenting the oddities of the world. From what you'd heard about it already, it's intense stuff that keeps them on the move and untethered. And you're no expert, but your car's looking pretty close to done, meaning you'll be leaving Gravity Falls soon enough. All you can do is hope that you're not leaving it with any regrets. Listen, I can understand the appeal of watching someone drink water attractively, but it's hilarious to think of it related to Grunkle Stan. Yeah, and sometimes the art style shifts from being very accurate to being very, like, romance cover, sort of. It's fantastic. Heading out through the back door so you don't disturb Seuss's current tour, you round the house to where your car has stood still for the past 2 weeks. Sure enough, there you find Stan, staring thoughtfully into the hood before he spots you and brightens. Hey, how's it hanging, trolley mug? I don't know, I'm feeling kind of like the fancy finding you here, the little flirty kind of answer. What do you guys think? Yeah, very shoujo manga, you're right. You'd go with that? Yeah, I think that's the right move here. Fancy finding you here, outside your own house, where Ford told me you'd be. What can I say? I'm unpredictable. Never know what I'll be up to next. Your car's almost good to go as far as I can tell. I'm planning to take her for a quick test run around town to make sure. Sounds fun. When do we go? You ain't coming. I don't want you inside if there's an explosion or something. There won't be, but it's a precaution. Okay. But if you are free tonight, I figured we would, celebrate. Yeah, sure. What do you have in mind? It's really a ringing endorsement for his, trust in his own mechanic work that he's afraid that it's going to explode. Can't tell you. That'd just ruin the surprise. All you gotta worry about is yourself. Meet me back here in a few hours. And wear your best duds. Stan shoots you a wink, twirling your car keys around his finger before he turns and gets into your car. Unsure why you couldn't go with him and hang out tonight, you wave goodbye and watch carefully as he revs the car to life. It works. And hey, no explosion. He gives you a thumbs up, which you return, and pulls out onto the dirt road towards town. A handful of hours later, and it's just about time to get ready for your date. Stan got back to the shack a moment ago, and through the window you've spotted Mabel talking to him outside. Though you couldn't figure out what they were saying, you laughed to yourself when she took his face in her hands, squishing his cheeks and looking him straight in the eye. A cute intimidation tactic, maybe? After running through all the clothes you've brought with you for the trip, you're relieved to find an outfit that fits the occasion. It's something classic, something flashy, or something casual. I know I personally would probably go with something classic, but I don't know. I feel like Stan's kind of a casual guy, but he's saying to wear your best duds. So if you show up too casual, I don't want to disappoint him either. Yeah. You guys are leaning classic as well? Okay. Yeah, flashy seems like... Yeah, Stan isn't really much of a flashy guy. I mean, in ways, but... Yeah, I think classic is the right choice here. Feeling good about the outfit you chose, you head outside to meet Stan. You step onto the back porch and are met with his back to you, looking off in the distance. You're about to call his... Oh, this is going to be good. You're about to call his name when he turns in your direction, and your words die on your tongue, speechless at the sight of him. He looks handsome. Your eyes catch on the way that his gold chain glints in the light, drawing your attention to his proudly exposed chest, helpfully framed by the cut of his shirt. The buttons almost strain to contain how good he looks, and your gaze follows the line lower to how... Oh, God. Stan whistles playfully at the sight of you. I know, right? Is this not gold? Like, this is a fantastic game. Aren't you a sight for sore eyes? I feel like doing a spin. That seems like the sort of thing that he would enjoy. Any opinion from you guys? Definitely. Okay, yeah, we're spinning. Spinnies. You do a turnaround, making sure to give an extra flourish as you spin. Stan's eyes light up as he laughs, tipping his imaginary hat to you in appreciation and whistling again. So, where to? Hands in his pockets, Stan nods over to the Stanmobile, a few feet in front of you. Only one way to find out. He offers his arm and escorts you to the passenger side, opening and shutting the door for you before he heads over to the driver's side. While you were already looking forward to this, the way Stan looks makes you all the more eager. And that cologne, it suits him. You watch him, thinking to yourself how crazy this all is. Your brain is telling you to get a grip, but your cheeks are beginning to ache from smiling so much, and you can't bring yourself to mind. The El Diablo soon purrs to life, and you're on your way. Since you don't know your destination, you're not sure how long the ride will be. Not like you mind at all. I feel like I would probably make conversation. You always this mysterious with your dates, luring them off into the night with promise of a good time? Stan chuckles. Nah, only the ones I like being around. Good to know. Besides, you should definitely know what to expect from a drive with me now. So the last time we were... Oh yeah, the music also I think was probably my second option there. But the last time that we were in a car with him, Stan took us to a house. I think it was Lil Gideon's dad's house, because I remember that he also was into clown paintings. And we thought he was out of town and stole a clown painting, but instead were chased by a man with a shotgun through the woods. So that's what happened the last time we were in a car with Stan. The unexpected? Bingo. Yeah, it's incredibly on brand. Like, the characterization in this game is very good. You gaze out the window again, unable to keep the smile from your face. Another minute or so passes before Stan speaks again. All right, we're almost there. Close your eyes. Really? Yes, really. And I've got a blindfold in the glove box if you can't stop yourself from peeking. Somehow it sounds like he's not joking about that last part. After what you've seen with him, it wouldn't be a surprise. Yeah, I don't know if the comment is going to be like a positive or a negative comment, because like I wouldn't mind commenting if it's going to be like a lighthearted joke, but if it's going to be like negative, then I don't want to. I think I'm gonna leave that one alone. You laugh, but close your eyes as he told you to. It's fine. I've got it. I promise I won't peek. You keep your eyes closed for another minute or two as Stan begins to tell you about the time he was hogtied and blindfolded by some thugs on the side of a desert road. Just as he gets to the good part about how he had to hitchhike using only his nose, the car comes to a stop. You both hear and feel Stan put the car into park and realize there's muffled music not too far from you. Can I look now? Hold on. Stan exits the car and the footfalls tell you he's walking to your side. In a second, he's there opening your door. Can I look now? Stan chuckles. Unless you can walk with your eyes closed. You open your eyes to see a rundown diner. Greasy's Diner, to be exact. The building is about as slightly shabby in appearance as it was when you last visited, but under the glowing "We Have Food" sign is an endearingly hand-painted banner reading "Disco Night." Through the windows you can spot energetic silhouettes and flashing multicolored lights. Hardly grandiose, but it's still beautiful. Oh my god, Stan. He takes your hand and helps you out of the passenger seat. What? You don't like it? Yeah, it's slightly surprised that we have an actual date and not just, you know, going fishing or crime. Did I say something? Oh, because I said I wanted to go dancing with him. That's okay. I'm gonna go for You Remembered. I know you've been dying to see the magic I make on the dance floor. It seemed cruel to keep you waiting any longer. Let's be excited. Like, I feel like this is Stan being genuine and heartfelt, so let's be excited with him. Well, come on, let's cut a rug. Stan chuckles, leading you to the door. Wow, that's some old slang even for me. Listen, you, I don't want to hear it from you. Paint the town red? Play your cards right and we'll do both. As you step inside, you're greeted by the sight of a dance floor. A disco ball reflects fragments of colorful spotlights all around the room, and even the cow skull above the jukebox has string lights wrapped around its horns. I do not know how old the player character is. Young enough that he often refers to us as kid. But I think that he refers to a lot of people like that. Yeah. We haven't gotten any, like, shade from any of the townspeople or anything about it, so I'm going to say that they're definitely, like, an adult and not a young adult. There's a good amount of people here. It's mostly older adults, which is unsurprising given the music genre, but there are a few younger folks who seem to be enjoying themselves unironically. You're surprised you don't see Mabel and her friends here. Yeah, true. Very, very true. They haven't come out and said any, like, much in this, but a lot of things have been alluded to. You finally look back at Stan and catch him pretending he wasn't just watching you for your reaction seconds earlier. You didn't do all of this just for me, did you? Nah, it's a monthly thing that picked up a while back. I lend them some equipment for it every time, but I may have knocked it... Oh, but I may have knocked it up a week or 4. I'm like, what did you knock up? Like, it took me a second to realize what the hell he was saying there. He's smirking. He's so proud of himself. You roll your eyes, but you give him a fond smile. Well then, let's dance already. Yeah, right. Grabbing Stan's hand in yours, you lead him onto the dance floor, and he follows eagerly. Alright, we can start you off with something easy. I need to see your moves first. Make sure you're the real deal. Got any requests then? Oh god. I definitely do not want to see him dab. And I feel like Foxtrot does not suit this environment. So I think freestyle is the option I would go for here. Do you guys have any preferences? God, why do I feel like Flora's gonna be like, dab, dab, dab? Freestyle, okay. Okay, let's go with freestyle. Whatever will impress me most. Make me swoon. Stan assumes this serious pose, pausing dramatically before he busts into the cheesiest hustle move there. See, this is gold. This is golden. My eyes. Stan laughs freely. Any other requests? Foxtrot's a thing, right? Can you do that? I'm not quite the young buck I used to be, but I still got some trot in me. And you dance, Before you know it, the song is passed. And then another, and another. You weren't too sure at first, but Stan's actually a really good dancer. He's light on his feet, and he's definitely got rhythm. He knows just where to guide you, and how to hold you. Oh god, you hope your hands aren't sweaty. Are they sweaty? Your face sure feels hot when he shoots you a wink before leading you into a half-turn that lands your back flush against his chest. You're keeping up pretty good, Trollymog. You having fun? He asks low in your ear in a way that makes your heart flutter as you sway together. Only because I have such an amazing partner. I could say the same thing. Stan laughs and then brings you back to face him. But the song ends only seconds later, and he releases his hold on you. It's a slow song, and Stan raises his brow at you questioningly. Let's take the initiative here. Of course you want to continue. Laughing, you take his hand in yours again and guide it back to your side. Stan beams and brings you closer still. You're about to rest your palms against his chest, but change your mind and rest them on his broad shoulders. You're almost nervous to look him in the eye, but when you chance a glance upward, you're so pleased with what you see. You've been close before, intimately even, but this is a whole new ballpark. Face to face, moving slowly as one, nothing to distract from one from the other's gaze. Yeah, right? You try not to think about how good he smells or how comforted and electrified his hold makes you feel, and you definitely try not to think about how a slight lean forward would easily bring his lips to yours. The song changes again, almost too soon, you think, but Stan just picks up his tempo to match, keeping your proximity the same. By now, you don't even have to look at your feet. The pace quickens and you both get caught in it. A swing, a twirl, another swing, and you're dipped in Stan's arms so smoothly that it takes you a split second to realize why you're nearly upside down. Stan's grinning down at you, panting from the intense bout, holding the dip. Okay, what do you guys think here? It definitely feels like a kiss him moment, but that I don't know if I definitely don't want to pick you're not ready for this. Like I want to continue this path here. But I guess we kiss him? You're not, yeah. Let's go for your speechless. Just because I don't necessarily want to like accidentally skip anything either by like moving ahead. I don't know. I think it would be weird for that and then just to kind of stare at him too. Let's kiss him. Heart thrumming in your ears, you lean up, pecking him on the cheek with a chaste kiss. He chuckles and smiles down at you for a moment before bringing you back up in his arms to finish off the dance right as the song ends. A quick glance around the room lets you know that most of the surrounding patrons were watching the two of you dance. They look away as you notice, some whispering and some getting back down to their own technique. It's Stan who speaks first. You hungry? Not what you were expecting, but you're kind of relieved he's keeping the mood light. I am always down for some snacks, so I thought you'd never ask. Great. My treat, kid. Pick anything you want. Of course, the place he's the most generous at is a diner whose most expensive entree is $20. Lucky for you, I only want some fries and a shake. Sounds perfect. Instead of waiting for a server to come by, Stan goes straight to the counter to order. You sit down in a pleasantly unsticky booth waiting for him and notice that Stan left his jacket on the seat next to you. We wore his jacket in the previous session after getting dumped into the lake. You definitely put it on? Okay. I love that you guys are so excited by this. In no time, Stan returns with 2 orders of fries and 2 shakes. He grins when he sees his jacket draped over your shoulders. I hope you don't mind, I was feeling a bit chilly. Nah, that one looks good on ya, and it's not wet this time. He sits, sliding in right next to you. It's been a long time since I just got fries and a shake from an old diner. Not usually something people my age do, I guess. You're different, and they just don't know how to have a good time, or when was the last time? I feel like the second option is, again, that kind of like flirty, lighthearted sort of thing. I don't necessarily want to get like super prying into his past, because I feel like that's rude. Yeah, I think that's the right tone. True, they're all busy hating their spouses and drinking to forget. Jesus, maybe that was the wrong answer. He seems to find that funny, but I'm like, okay, it's a little grim. And paying taxes. Stan grasps his chest in mock horror. Don't even say that. Gives me shivers at the very thought. Ready to dig in properly, you take a fry and dip it into your chocolate shake. Stan, a handful of fries ready to be shoved into his gaping mouth, looks at you like you just screamed bloody murder. What? Did you just... What, you've never tried it? No, of course not. It's delicious. It's the perfect mix of sweet and salty. Stan frowns. Yeah, this is just, it's reminding me of a certain bacon-laced ice cream beverage. Stan frowns. Don't knock it till you try it. He scoffs, picking up a fry and dipping it into your shake instead of his own, and pops it into his mouth. His eyes widen as he chews, silent until he swallows. That's actually not half bad. I think that we need to steal one of his fries now. Seizing the moment he's off guard, you reach over and snatch a fry from his plate. It would be funny if this went completely off the rails into a Joey doesn't share food kind of reaction, but still. Hey! Payback. Stan picks up your shake and takes a big ol' swig. Hey! He sets it back down, licking his lips triumphantly. He's missed a spot though, and there's a bit of chocolate left on the side of his smirking mouth. I don't know if we want to wipe it off for him, because that's very forward, and I feel like kissing him was not the right not the right option there. You know, he seems to be very content. Are we being bold? You want to wipe it off for him? What about you, Flora? Bold? Okay. Hey, Stan, you've got some... You lift your hand to his face and wipe away the chocolate with your thumb. Stan's breath hitches at your touch. When you absentmindedly lick the chocolate away, he's nearly beet red. You soon slip into that comfortable silence again as you survey the crowd and the couples on the dance floor. Everyone seems to be having a good time. It's nice seeing the others enjoying something Stan helped to put on. It seems he does more good than he likes to admit to himself. Yeah, pointing it out, it depends on the tone, right? Because if it's like, oh, you know, you've got a little, you know, that could be okay. But like, hey, you got shit on your face is definitely gonna ruin the mood. When he's not going on crime sprees or getting arrested, at least. Soon you're to the ends of your cups and have picked up the last bits of your fries. Hey, you want to get out of here? Lead the way. Soon you're back in the old Diablo, engine purring to life as Stan screeches out of the little parking lot and onto Main Street. With the way he drives, you honestly don't know how he can keep his car in such good shape, even with his mechanic skills. Car makeouts? Maybe. But eventually your speed becomes reasonable as Stan transitions from the asphalt road to the dirt, and you're left to realize your quickened pulse isn't due to his driving, but from anticipation. You taking me for some late night errands again? Nah, thought we could just see where the road takes us. You know, for a small town, it sure is huge. Tell me about it. This forest is more of a trap than the shack. That's debatable. I feel like that's a little mean to, like, the shack, which is his baby. Worked on me just fine. Or, well, I like it. I feel like well, I like it is, like, more sincere, you know? Like, saying... And with the kind of intimacy of the car ride sort of thing. I think saying that, well, I like it might be a good solution, or a good answer there. I'm not sure if I could make it 30 years here. Oh, what? That was weird. Stan's grip on those steering wheel shifts, but his expression remains neutral. But I just love the feeling this place gives off, the atmosphere and everything. Stan scoffs. You sound like a hippie. Next you'll be talking about good vibes, white energy. Maybe Seuss should hire you at the shack after all. You'd make a killing. You shove his shoulder lightly and his expression relaxes into a soft smile. I mean, it's grown on me. Like a fungus, sure, but it has. But I'm not the kind of guy who hikes trails or draws gnomes. That's my brother. I'd rather be in the city than the woods. Way fewer bugs, more people to pickpocket, and not everyone knows my face. So then how does someone like you end up in a place like this? You said you were from Jersey, right? I know how everyone else has gotten here, but not you. Stan sighs as if the weight of his whole life story lies within that question. Luckily, he humors you. Long, and I mean long, story short. My brother and I had a falling out when we were kids. High school. I got kicked out, barely talked to him or my parents for 10 years. He moved here. I spent those years bouncing from state to state. Oregon was one of the few I hadn't been banned from. I feel like maybe he wouldn't accept the sympathy. I feel like WoW might be a better option. You're telling me. Then one day he dropped me a line, asked me to come here. I came thinking he wanted to make up or at least talk things out, but he was in a bad place. Basically told me to get lost. What? That's awful. Yeah, well, we both made our mistakes that day. We fought, said some things, threw some punches, and... I suppose now that you know how weird this town is, telling you I accidentally pushed my twin brother through a cosmic portal in the basement, leaving him to fend for himself and hop through dimensions for the next 30 years, isn't as crazy as it normally would be. Your mouth is just agape. Seriously, you think your jaw might be on the floor. Close your mouth, kid. You'll catch flies like that. I feel like asking about him is the correct thing here. You know, because, yeah, asking him about Ford is, you know, definitely going to screw things up. But, you know, asking, in all of that insanity, being like, are you okay? I think is the right thing there. Okay. What about you? You said Ford went through the portal for 30 years, but what did you do during that time? Is that what made you start the shack? Oh, yeah. Like I said, I came here because Sixer needed me, but once he was gone, I didn't have anywhere to go, and I wasn't going to leave him until I got him back. Did he really spend 30 years of his life trying to get his brother back? So I started the Mystery Shack. The locals thought I was my brother and liked the mysterious scientist in the woods shtick, so I had to roll with it. Wait, so you had to pretend to be Ford too? The whole time? Only a name, sweetheart. It was a good thing I always went by Stan anyway. Let me tell you, Stanford Pines was never cooler than when he was me. Caught off guard in your absolute shock, you erupt into laughter. Okay, that I can absolutely believe. By now, it feels like you've been driving for a good while. You start to wonder if Stan really does have no idea where he's going, but the thought stops in its tracks as the car makes a sharp turn onto a diverging path. You catch the slightest glimpse of a wooden sign reading, "Do not enter." Stan? Where are we going? Relax, Trolley Mog. I know what I'm doing. There's this real hot spot up ahead on the cliff's edge. Lets you see the whole town and the horizon and everything. Real picturesque. That sounds amazing. The car suddenly jerks left, and there's a troubling bump as you go over a large redwood root. That is, if we don't die before we get there. You guys are on the same page. Yeah, definitely going to the makeout point. Sorry, kid, that one was in my blind spot. It's pitch black outside, Stan. Everything's a blind spot. All right. Hold on. One more jump, and then we're in the clear. If he says that, I'm gonna trust him that I need to hold on. Although there might be a dialogue thing where if you don't hold on, you get thrown against his shoulder or something. But no, I think if Stan is telling you to hold on, then you hold on for dear life. You grasp the back of your seat in one hand and the car door's handle with another, unsure of how big a bump he has in mind. It's worse than you expected, Stan accelerating enough that you swear the wheels have left the ground, until landing hard enough that Stan finds it necessary to brace you with his own arm, keeping you from slamming your head into the dashboard. Yeah, I wonder if you don't hold on, if you just end up with like a concussion and he has to take you to the hospital and that's the end of the date. The Stanmobile pulls up to its destination at the cliff's edge. Just as Stan said, you have a perfect view of the whole town, the surrounding canyon, and the remarkably saucer-esque shape cut into a natural bridge. You catch Stan's pleased grin from the corner of your eye as you gasp, taking it all in. Though the sun has long since set, the small glowing streetlights from the small town illuminates the surrounding trees, providing only a slight hint of the mountain's shadows. It's not until seeing it from up here like this that it sinks in just how secluded from the world Gravity Falls is. It's almost like a hidden treasure among the evergreens. And though the black, thick forestry behind where you're parked might seem daunting alone at night here with Stan, it just feels promising. So I'm guessing you like it, right? It's beautiful. As you survey the Steen, you realize that this cliff seems rather untouched, save for a flimsy barrier made of wire and stakes just before its end. How did you find this place? Well, there's this other spot like this one that I'm told the kids call Lookout Point. It's just across from us, actually. Stan points to the spot opposite the car, straight ahead. Huh. The place is infested with teenagers, though. Saw it myself when I drove up here to help Dipper with a girl situation. Teenagers. Gross. Exactly. It hits you more fully now that you're here with Stan. Alone together, away from the world as you know it. You're thrilled, anxious, and suddenly you don't know what to do with your hands. A nervous giggle escapes you, and Stan offers a kind and reassuring smile as he slings his arm along the back of his seat, crossing his leg over the other. The casual air is contagious, and you're thankful for it. Tee-hee-hee. So, how do you kill time in a place like this for 30 years? Besides all the shack and secret portal stuff. Stan laughs, scratching at his cheek. Well, as you know, I'm full of surprises. I'd skip town every now and then, for actual supplies or a promising hookup. But as the shack became a household name, I had to stay put for longer and longer. So I'd make do trying to enjoy the small town thing. You settle in. You're not budging until he elaborates. Like what, though? The fun stuff like disco nights? Stan scans the horizon, looking for something. Okay, there. See the bowling place? Used to have a team there. We were really good, thanks to yours truly. Until this wet blanket Toby came on board and we had to use bumpers. Like a baby. Again, you didn't mean to laugh. Yikes. You got that right. Aside from that, there's a great taco joint and bar. The kids like to go to the arcade, and the mini golf place is pretty decent. He starts counting on his fingers. There's a mall, a creepy animatronic pizza place, a public pool, which I would not recommend, by the way, unless you're into sitting in strangers' filth. That all sounds pretty dang fun, minus the filth part. It sounds like there's actually a lot to do here. It's weird, ain't it? It's like, you'll never hear about a place, but if the situation calls for it, pow, it's right here in town. It's almost like they're making it up as it goes along, right? You really like hearing Stan talk, about anything, really. The way he emotes with his hands, the grit in his voice, and the gradual increase of enthusiasm when he gets passionate, even about something small. And of course, he never fails to make you laugh. You could listen to him all night long. So you prepare to do just that, adjusting your legs in a more relaxed position. Nothing wrong with taking advantage of the leg room and these wide bench seats. Okay, I have a feeling this is one of the ones where we can actually ask about all three, because there was some of the stuff when we were investigating the Mystery Shack before where we could go through everything and get all the dialogue options. So let's start with the graveyard, which honestly, if I had to pick one, is probably the one that I would ask about. So what about the graveyard? Nothing special there. Not even that spooky. Sure, the grave of America's lost president is there, and something about national treasure, but I went there myself for artifact inspiration, and there wasn't even a decent headstone to steal. Okay, good, we get to do all of them. So the factory on the cliff. I feel like Mabel was there with Lil Gideon. Oh, there we go. You know, I'm surprised that place is even still there. There used to be this attraction in the middle of town. This brat Gideon Gleeful. Hold on. Gleeful. Like Bud Gleeful, the car dealership guy Gleeful? Yep, Gideon is Bud's snot-nosed kid. They used to run this scam that made money off of poor suckers' hopes and dreams by posing Gideon as a psychic. Oh no. It's just as tasteless as you're probably imagining. He'd even dance around and sing like a monkey in a tux. So what? I had a real monkey at the shack back then. Wore a hat and everything. Stan, please don't own monkeys. They are not good pets. Anyways, these idiots obviously ate it all up. Yeah, right? He became my biggest competition and even a bigger pain in my ass. That old factory's where they used to make his merchandise. What happened to Gideon? The kid had some realizations, I guess, like a lot of people in this town. Supposedly he's trying to get that silver spoon out of his mouth and be a normal tween like the rest of them. But who knows? Haven't heard about him this visit, so I can't tell you for sure. That must be a good sign. Okay, so what about that weirdly shaped building? That's the club. You shoot him a look. Stan makes it through his next words laughing. That's the name, honest. You snort. Clever? The name might be questionable, but the place is nice enough to only let you in if you're rich. Only ever managed to sneak in there once. Bad vibes there, even for someone like me. Worst of all, the food was mediocre. Not the kind of quality I didn't pay for. There's a lull in the conversation, a moment where the both of you are simply admiring the view. It seems like you've inched your way closer to Stan as he was speaking because all of a sudden you realize that your leg isn't all that far from his. The reflection of the outside light on Stan's glasses keeps you from being able to read his expression from this position. Okay, are we staying put or are we getting closer? I have a feeling I know what you guys are going to say, but I'm still putting that option out there for you. Yeah, it definitely depends on the goal, but I think we're pretty firmly on this route. I definitely don't want to switch to Ford or anything. So let's scooch a little close. Scooch closer, children. Scooch. We'll get a little closer. You very nearly closed the gap between you both, and it would have been smooth too, if not for the creak of the patent leather seat as you shifted. Stan's grin tells you that he noticed. Damn, time for a diversion. What's that on the water tower over there? Ah, that old chestnut. What's it look like to you? I'm going with muffin because I actually saw this episode fairly recently and I remember that's what Dipper described it as. It's supposed to be an explosion, but Dipper was like, it looks like a muffin. It looks like a muffin. Not sure why anyone would choose that as a symbol for vandalism. Maybe it scares the hell out of anyone with a wheat allergy? Maybe it's a bran muffin. Oh, I could go for a muffin. Why do you guys gotta be talking about muffins right now? He wiggles his fingers like he's telling a spooky story. With extra raisins. I would still eat that. I am not a person who hates raisins in baked goods, and dried fruit in bran muffins are excellent. Oh, pumpkin muffins. You're wrong, Flora. Extra raisins. Yeah, I need to get some of my... I got like a recipe organizing app, and now I need to go back through some of my mom's cookbooks and steal like all of my favorite recipes that she has. So that way I can make some of those things. Yeah, thankfully canned pumpkin is good for quite a while. No, raisins are fine. You're wrong. You know, I almost died up there once. It's a real doozy of a story. Admittedly, though, when I do bran muffins, I do prefer like craisins or dried cherries or something like that in there. Over raisins usually, but I don't mind them. Raisin neutral, yeah. Here in Canada, we have a dessert called butter tarts, which I don't know if you would have ever tried, but they're basically very similar to like a pecan pie. But a lot like no pecan. Well, you can traditionally they have raisins in them, or you can have pecans or a number of assorted more modern things. But they're usually like looser. It's just like the sugary filling of like a pecan pie. And I like raisins in them because they kind of soak up the moisture and become all plump and delicious. I did have some butter tarts though with like a spoonful of Nutella in the bottom once, and that was also delicious. You know, I almost died up there once. It's a real doozy of a story. You take the bait. Oh, do tell. And so he does, with his usual flourish, painting a picture of the time that he and his great niece bravely scaled the tower and nearly got shaken from it by a video game character come to life. You find yourself with another chance to move closer. I don't know. We weren't particularly smooth about it last time. Okay, we'll move closer. Yeah, last time went awkwardly, but we're gonna do it. Stan's speech falters a bit as you inch closer, and the side of your hand brushes his, but he continues when you leave it there. I gotta admit, like, little bits like that, it makes me feel like I'm playing Persona 4. What was it? Persona 4 again? Where I'm like, I must date the shy girl. I must date her. So I says to Mabel, I says, having just looked at death straight in its dumb, ugly face. Finally, your thigh meets his, and suddenly he seems to have a pretty persistent itch on the back of his head because he can't stop rubbing it. And so that punk Robbie learned his lesson eventually, but you know how his type are. I think I have an idea, yeah. Your eyes meet Stan's, and you hope to God he can't tell how your heart is hammering in your chest. Yeah, grins widely and bisexual, exactly. Yeah. Screw it. Here goes nothing. You steel your nerves, moving and gently resting your head on Stan's shoulder, leaning into his side. You hold your breath as you focus on the water tower in front of you, worried about what look he could be giving you. Oh, Stan clears his throat, pulling his arm away from you, and for a moment the feeling that you just crossed a line makes you mentally curse yourself. Until he lets out an embarrassingly fake yawn, and his arm above his head and out, resting it across your shoulders. You gotta go for that classic move, right? You're so excited by his touch and your success that it takes you a moment to realize the yawn and stretch. He just used that old cliche. And moreover, it worked. Again, I don't want to make him feel like self-conscious or awkward. I think I'm just gonna let him enjoy his victory. You can't help but giggle. What? Stan reddens, smiling sheepishly down at you. You attempt to compose yourself. Nothing, nothing. You settle into your new spot in his hold, and he seems to relax a bit too. You're lucky you're so cute and endearing. Stan's chest puffs out at that with a laugh. Oh, you just said that out loud, didn't you? You'd be surprised at how little I've heard that before. Now that you're against his side, you really don't know what to do with your damn hands. Are they feeling a little extra sweaty? Curse these leather seats. Okay, I definitely think that this is the end of the date there. If we do this, he is gonna be like, whoa, like, no. I say that, like, this is a lot of progress, and we just keep our hands to ourselves. How are you guys feeling about that? Also, like, hold him seems like, yeah, right? Because hold him seems very, like, awkward. Like, because to me, that means, like, embracing sort of thing. And you're kind of, like, nestled in beside him. So that would require, like, more turning and awkwardness in the car. Like, if it was, like, hold his hand or something, then that would make more sense. But let's just keep our hands to ourselves. Yeah, exactly. Like, I would also be just kind of, you know, hands in your lap type thing. Yeah. I think it does feel a bit like a rejection, but we can recover. If it's a rejection, we can recover. For a moment, you dare not to say a thing and instead close your eyes. Are we gonna get some good art here? There's that scent again, that overtone of cheap cologne mingled with leather, cigar smoke, and salt. From this proximity in this car, it's just the right kind of overwhelming. You really can't believe this. Never in your wildest imagination could you imagine how your solo summer road trip would work out. But in this moment, you really can't imagine it any other way. You're just happy. We got the good art. I love when it goes to these scenes. You were the one who scooched closer. I don't think he'll take you not continue. Yeah, exactly. That look, right? Hey, Stan. Yeah? Thanks for your help. His eyes meet your own as he smiles down at you. No problem, kid. It's what kind souls like me do. That, I think, is the most unbelievable bit of dialogue in this entire thing. I don't think Stan would ever refer to himself as a kind soul. You really are a lifesaver. Seriously, my car would have been a goner. And you rescued me from being bled dry by a mechanic, too. You can feel the rumble in Stan's chest as he hums. Crooks. All of them. Not even charismatic about it. Because it's fine to be a crook as long as you're charismatic, right? That's certainly a plus, too. Your hand moves upward to his broad chest, just below the open V of his shirt. I'm not only thankful for a place to freeload, though, Stan. I've actually had a really incredible time here. Seriously, I'm the luckiest person to ever be ripped out of the forest with their car, since it was by such a nice family. Right? That's a little handsy there. Better than a simple trip to the Mystery Shack, huh? Definitely. Oh. Do we want to kiss him or just tell him how we feel? I feel like telling him how we feel may lead into kissing as well. I feel like that might be, yeah, they're both a lot. I think I'm gonna go with tell him how you feel. You know, he seems to enjoy, like, frankness, while not necessarily, like being not necessarily like, too bold, but just honesty and being, like, forthcoming with him, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Mabel's words come back to you, and despite your doubts begging you not to say anything stupid, your heart is yelling at you to tell him already, damn it. You know what? Yeah, if everything goes south, you're already about to pack your bags and leave. You'd never even have to think the name Gravity Falls ever again. All right. Yep, here it goes. Stan, I really like you. You focus on the gold chain just by your fingertips and toy with it. God, that is very forward. Avoiding eye contact to keep your nerves, well, you've got them. You can hear him swallow thickly despite your heart thrumming in your ears. I've really enjoyed getting to know you these past couple weeks, even when you got me shot at. I can't tell you how much of a relief it's been to not only escape death by complete boredom, but also to find myself having some of the most fun I've ever had, period. You need an extra gulp of air for this next part. Thank you for tonight. I'm glad that you brought me here. And I'm gonna miss you. A glance up and there Stan is, looking at you with a mix of emotions you can't quite place. You think you feel his pulse skip a beat under your palm, and you're sure your own does the same as he looks away. His pronounced jawline is further exaggerated in the shadows, and you see it clench before he faces you again. You don't know who leans in first, or more, or anything, but suddenly Stan's hand is cupping your face as his lips are on yours. It's sweet, but somewhat clumsy as his glasses remind you of their existence by hitting you in the cheek as he leans in close. You can't help but hum against his lips. And oh god, you forgot to breathe. You part, both of you breathing, just a little bit heavier than before. Stan's big dumb grin is accompanied by pink dusted cheeks. Was that... Are you okay? I think that's just a kiss him again sort of situation. Yeah, I think that's just respond in kind, you know? Okay, let's do that. What a dork. This time you're holding his face as you kiss him again, and you're pleased to find it's even better a second time. You're about to say something more when Stan looks sharply up. Following his gaze, you spot twin lights on the cliff across from yours. Headlights. Oh, great. Just what we needed. Guess we should start heading back. He offers you an apologetic smile. We should, but can we take the scenic route? Yeah, absolutely. Luckily, the scenic route is also the long way home. You're mostly joking about a scenic route back to the shack during this time of night, but both Gravity Falls and Stan have a way of amazing you to no end. Little bioluminescent mushrooms are sprinkled along the path, on the trees in perfect rings. It's a fairy ring, don't stand in it. Stan drives slowly and you take advantage of it to marvel at the greenish glow. This is incredible. There's a lot more where these came from, or so I've heard. There's a gnome forest somewhere around here. Never been, cause, well, gnomes. But maybe Ford can let us know if there's somewhere like that if there's somewhere like it without the pests. You rest your head on the windowsill, watching the toadstools of all shapes and sizes go by, counting them. I'd really like that. With each passing minute, the rumble of the road and the thrum of the car seem to add another weight to your eyelids, and suddenly your fatigue catches up with you. You all right? You hum an affirmative, and Stan takes you at your word. Well, this could be better. Sliding up next to him, you bring Stan's free arm that's not on the wheel around yourself, like it was earlier this evening, and he chuckles. That's right, get yourself comfortable. You let your eyes fall closed, content. Wake me up if there's a nymph or something. He's gonna princess carry you back to the house and tuck you in. That would be adorable. Will do, Trolley Mog. I mean, if honestly... Oh, that's the end of the date. The love meter has definitely jumped forward. Holy cow, that is a huge increase. If it was show Stan, I would expect him to just like leave you in the car and you wake up in there the next morning. Oh, we're near the end. Oh, okay. It's, we'll see how long this goes, just because I actually don't have something really lined up for after this, and we're only about halfway through stream, so we'll see. It's your last day in Gravity Falls, and weeks ago you'd worried today would never come, but now that it's here, you don't know how to feel. Just yesterday when Stan told you your car was good to go, you wanted to believe that there was something still left for him to fix. And yesterday evening, after your final dinner with the whole Pines family and Seuss's back-breaking goodbye hug, you had almost resigned yourself to letting go. But now, in the clarity of daylight, you realize that these weird and wonderful people don't have to disappear from your life for good. You'll always have the memories, and you'll still be able to keep in touch through letters, packages, and video calls. They won't be able to get rid of you even. Too late, suckers. Cherished friends for life. That's how I feel about a lot of my friends. When you make your way out of the shack, you're met by the Pines and Waddles, all gathered besides a large tarp covering what you guess is your car. They're talking amongst themselves until they spot you. There she is. Thought you were going to miss the big reveal. Now you guys... Ford and Stan each take an end of the tarp, pulling it off with a flourish as Mabel and Dipper throw handfuls of confetti in the air. Ta-da! The reveal is, indeed, your car. Besides a couple of nicks here and there, it's hard to believe it's the same one that you crashed just weeks ago. Heck, it probably runs better than it did when you first got it. It looks amazing. You take it all in, running your hands along the hood and marveling at the spotless windows. Ford, can I call you the next time I need a tune-up? If this is what happens when you use that magnet gun, I might ask for you to total my car more often. Ha, yes, well, perhaps we can find a middle ground. Hey, no love for me, huh? Don't forget who got you out of this mess in the first place. I could never. Trust me, I'll think of you every time I can use my windshield wipers without jamming the button. You laugh, giving Stan a big hug in gratitude. Thank you, Stan. You turn to the whole family, taking the moment in. And thanks to all of you for everything. It's been, I think, unforgettable. Familiar car keys back in hand, you unlock your car and load your belongings into the trunk. Mabel comes up and hands you a package wrapped entirely in ribbons and bows, winking. Just something to remember us by. Stan calls from where he stands with Ford, to the left of your car. I don't know what that is, but it's from me too. And me. Dipper simply shoots you a thumbs up, and when you look at the label on Mabel's gift, you see that his name is already on it beside hers. I think that we open it right there with them. You're about to pull out the ribbons. Oops. Back one. You're about to pull out the ribbons, but Mabel chides you. No, you gotta open it on the road after you leave. Or, well, after you stop at a rest stop, because you're driving. Please don't get into another accident. You tuck the gift into the trunk on top of everything else, making sure it'll be safe from being crushed. After Mabel, Waddles comes up to you as well and snorts up at you. You give the little guy a loving pat. You're gonna miss that pig. You're really gonna miss Gravity Falls, too. I don't know what to say, except, I guess, you're about to say goodbye when Stan interrupts you. Hold on, I got one more thing to say before you go. And, kids, you head on in first. You too, Sixer, give us some time alone. I gotta, show her some kinks with the engine. Yeah, okay. I could make a joke there, but, family friendly? Mabel oohs as she leaves, accompanying Dipper and Ford back to the shack. You think that was altogether too easy, and Stan must think so too, because he turns back to the shack's visible window just as Mabel peeks out from the side of the window pane. Exactly, right? I'm like, okay. You want to show me those? Okay. We'll see how that goes. Alone, Mabel. Mabel disappears from the window and Stan turns back to you. Well, it's been some couple of weeks, huh? Gotta say, I'm usually on the other side of this conversation. If there's a conversation at all, that is. Look, I've never been any good at this stuff, so I'll just cut right to the chase. If this was just a summer thing, I get it. I really do. But if it were more... Oh, I think it's more. Stan laughs with relief. Really? I mean, of course, really. I'm a fantastic catch. You lucked out with this one, kid. Honestly, Stan, you're not wrong. You don't come off as the long-distance type. I was afraid to ask, so I wasn't sure I had the guts. But I'm glad you did. Yeah, well, you know, there's still a few things I could get a better hang of. You give him a warm look of your own, letting your fondness show, and Stan flushes under your gaze. Well, I guess I should give you my number. Wait, you already have that. I'm kind of leaning towards the proper goodbye kiss, because it feels like this is the right time for that, you know? The middle one, yeah. Stan's grin is contagious. You barely lean in before he meets you with a purposeful kiss, one that holds promise. It's enough to bring you back to memories of that night in the car, on the cliff. Oh yeah, you'll definitely be staying in touch. Just as you're about to deepen the kiss, a high-pitched squeal rips your attention from each other into the sound's origin, to find that it's none other than Mabel pressing up against the shack's window. I knew you could do it, Grunkle Stan! I knew it! Love at last! A small hand comes into view and grabs her away from the window before a six-fingered one waves and draws the curtain shut. Yeah, I honestly, I'm like, is this gonna be Mabel or is it gonna be Waddles? Like something's gonna interfere here. Stan looks a bit peeved at being interrupted, but relaxes as you laugh. You got some really good kids there, Stan. Trust me, I know. Mabel talked me through some of the rough spots, believe it or not. Oh, I do. Maybe next time me and Ford Doc, we can pick up where we left off? Another more chaste peck on the lips serves as your answer. I'll hold you to it, sailor. Don't forget me now, all right? I swear I'll spam you with text messages if you do. Dipper showed me how. Laughing, you say your final goodbye with one last look at him. I couldn't forget you if I tried. See you later, Stan. Stan watches as you get in your car and start up the engine. You turn onto the road with ease, and in the rearview mirror see Stan waving goodbye, as well as Dipper, Mabel, and Ford from the shack. You smile at the sight and say a last goodbye into the quiet of your car, watching until you have to focus on the road once more. A little while longer, and you're through town, back on the open road. A sign passes on the right, now leaving Gravity Falls. It's not until you're at the next rest stop that you think to open Mabel's gift, or well, the Pines family's gift. You unwrap it to find Mystery Shack souvenirs, a small knitted square Mabel has helpfully labeled as a mug sweater, and a photo. Aw, the end. And that is it for Swooning Over Stands. What a fantastic game. The characterization in this was really good. I really felt like, mostly I felt like it could have been part of an episode. So it's absolutely fantastic. It is on itch. It is free to play, and I will link it in my bio if you want to check it out. So thanks so much, and have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye.